Hello, this is Spellbinder's report from the Unfiltered News, the Reality Zone, compiled by G. Edward Griffin, 2011, February 12th through the 18th. The cartoon says it all here, or the comic strip. Why so grim? There's not a cloud in the sky. The economy ready to go over the falls. And here's the news headlines for this week. And it is: Wisconsin protesters take control of the state capitol, and 14 Democrat senators flee the state to prevent the legislature from functioning. The issue behind this is that the governor introduced a bill supported of the Republican majority to balance the budget by requiring state employees to pay a larger share of their own pensions and health care costs by reducing power of the state employee union. Other options to balance the budget are: 1. Increase taxes, or 2. Request an ongoing, never-ending bailout by the federal government via taxpayers, of course, which will increase federal control, of course. Over 40 states now facing the same problem. ABC News, February 18. U.S. Over 100 doctors, nurses, and physical therapists are arrested for Medicare fraud, typically involving overbilling for procedures or for procedures not performed. Fraud of this kind is estimated at $60 billion to $90 billion per year. This is just a peak of what is expected under Obamacare. Ohio.com, February 18th. U.S. Right Haven is an organization that sues blogs and news sites for copyright infringements when they, quote, copyrighted material from other sources. The net effect is to harass or silence alternative media. Right Haven's first case, it has 238 cases pending, was dismissed based on the fair use law, but this will be appealed. The Activist Post, February 18th. Yes, they're trying to take away our freedom to read snippets from articles or even read the article. To me, it's advertisement for that writer and article producer or newspaper. U.S. Video. Fox News is caught cheating false news to put Congressman Ron Paul in a bad light. The real news is that Paul was overwhelmingly the winner of Conservative Political Action Committee's straw poll for the next presidential candidate, and the announcement was followed by prolonged cheers. The false news is that when Fox aired the event, it played a video from 2010 convention in which there was a mixed reaction from the delegates, including some boos from his opponents. The effect is that Paul was denied recognition of the fact that he has gained mightily in popularity in the last year. Fox News plays the role of being pro-Constitution and anti-big government, but only supports Republicans who vote for the same collectivist schemes they pretend to oppose. People like Ron Paul, who actually vote against collectivism, are usually ostracized or sabotaged by the network. This is classic. The Cut Line, February 17th. Idaho State House Representative is the first to pass legislation nullifying Obamacare. Great start. Or Idaho. Now, the Idaho Senate, the governor, and all other states need to follow suit. TAC, February 16th. U.S. Senate votes to extend key provisions of the misnamed Patriot Act for 90 days, which is anti-patriot. Both major parties support the Patriot Act. Imagine that. Along with President Obama. No news there. So there is no reason to expect the act not to be fully renewed in 90 days. Yahoo, February 15th. Chinese companies found mass-producing fake rice out of potatoes and plastic. Natural News, February 15th. U.S. Foreclosure volume soars 50% in California, Arizona, Washington, and many other states. The reason is that the foreclosure moratorium has ended, and homes that were suspended in the process now are being disposed. Next month is expected to be worse. But pay no attention. They still are assuming the recession is over. Business Insider, February 15th. Washington State to require all firms that buy second-hand precious metals, take note of this, including coins, to obtain personal information and photograph from anyone who is selling, to throw off thieves with stolen goods, of course. Yes, the PPJ Gazette, February 15th. U.S. veterans who have been raped by others in the military are suing the Pentagon for grossly mishandling the cases. Sometimes the victims had to serve alongside their attackers. Yahoo, February 15th. China overtakes Japan as world's second largest economy based on the gross domestic product. This is primarily because Japan's economy decreased. Telegraphed, February 14th. Obama's budget estimate for federal deficit for this fiscal year over $15 trillion, larger than the entire U.S. annual economy. The budget cuts obtained by newly elected Tea Party members are meaningless against these staggering numbers, and budget estimates always are more favorable than reality. How much longer can America survive its leaders? Washington Times, February 14th. U.S. Islam Jihad, who assisted the 7/7 London bombers, is quietly released from prison after just less than 5 years. Since petty thieves often serve longer terms, this has prompted claims that he was an undercover informer for the U.S. government at the time. The judge even said that he had cooperated with authorities prior to his arrest. Guardian, February 13th. Arizona financial transparency legislation has been introduced calling for making available to the public all states and local government incoming recipients or recipients, outgoing payments or receipts, and asset balance. This is an excellent proposal because a significant part of state and local cash flow often is hidden from the public, known as CAFRs. Expect to see entrenched powers do everything possible to defeat this bill. Walter Buren, writer of The CAFRs and How the Money is Hidden, February 13th. Mexico loses over 80% of its crops due to a big freeze, the coldest winter in over a half a century. This, in combination with inflation, points to skyrocketing food prices in Mexico and the U.S. And they are still pushing cap-and-trade, global warming taxes to combat the effects of so-called global warming. Higher food prices, higher taxes, and fewer jobs. There are going to be a lot of unhappy people. The word Egypt comes to mind. Digital Journal, February 12th. North American Union merger of the U.S., Mexico, and Canada is moving ahead as Obama and Canadian Prime Minister Harper agreed a common perimeter around both countries and a biometric ID to track all North Americans. They further agreed to work jointly on health security, terror, fraud, and the economy. Congress and the American people are not being consulted in this matter. Imagine that. New American, February 12th. U.S. An estimated 28.7 million jobs have been exported from the U.S. since 1992 due to NAFTA. Both major parties supported the treaty. In this 2008 presidential campaign, Obama promised to renegotiate parts of the NAFTA to bring jobs back to the U.S. Oh, really? How many years ago was that? Business Insider, February 12th. U.S. study shows that exposure to pesticides, paraquat, and rotenone increases the chance of developing Parkinson's disease by 250%. Imagine that. Yahoo, February 11th. UK woman is handcuffed and charged with stealing after taking potato wafers and pies that had been thrown away by a local grocery store. Imagine that. It's been thrown away to go to rot, and she decides to take it and share it with people in need. The charge was theft by finding. Theft by finding. Talk about making up charges to criminalize someone. Makes taking food that has been thrown away a crime by charging a woman with theft by finding. Unbelievable. Daily Mail, February 12th. World Economic Forum says the world needs 100 trillion in new credit over the next decade, which would double the level of existing credit. That means doubling the world's money supply at a time when goods and services are shrinking. That spells massive inflation as the value of the money falls. Since many members of the WEF are highly placed or influential in the major government of the world, this tells us what to expect from these governments. Telegraph, February 12th. It's called robbery of you people. I hope you see what's coming. U.S. zero-tolerance policies in schools are converting them into agencies of a police state. Prisons like in nature, criminalizing behavior and punishing instead of educating. That's right, they don't educate your kids anymore. They analyze and punish them. Don't you know? Lou Rockwell, February 17th. Another video, Global Warming Conspiracy, a documentary by Jesse Ventura, is well worth watching. In spite of an overwhelmingly dramatic style of production, the facts are accurate and important. They will make you angry. True TV, February 14th. Here is an excellent analysis of which path to Persia, a strategy paper prepared by the Brooklands Institute, which is a think tank funded by mega corporations, of course, within the orbit of the CFR. You know, the people who rob you under a different type of world. The CFR, man, these people are monsters. Everything that is happening in the Middle East is in accordance with this plan, developed in 2009. Just research it. If you want to know what will happen next, read this. All major decisions were made long ago. Nothing is accidental. It is planned. Activist Post, February 13th. Playing the global warming card. This analysis explains how the myth of global warming is the centerpiece of the central movement for expanding government, controlling people, and depopulation. You know, Agenda 21. A movement known as Agenda 21, of course. Morph City, February 11th. The singularity is the name given to the point in the development of technology where theoretically it will be possible to transfer human consciousness and introspection into self-directed, self-repairing, and self-replicating robots. Yes, you can become an android like Data in Star Trek's Next Generation. Don't laugh too quickly. Scientists and futurists are giving this concept a fair amount of credibility. Even if you're not convinced it is possible, you might find this report of interest. Time, February 10th. U.S. Conservatives Political Action Conference, CPAC, has been an outspoken advocate of adhering to the Constitution, yet after newly elected Tea Party congressmen and women who had their endorsements voted this week to renew the unconstitutional Patriot Act, CPAC was silent and continued to praise those who broke their pledge. This is a classic case of controlled opposition, collectivism, play act at being constitutionists to get elected and then betray those who they fooled. Just remember, you've been fooled. Article BBCW, February 14th. Until next time, This is Spellbinder. I'll have a link to this newsletter at the description. Be good or be good at it, and know what's going on in the world around you. The Unfiltered News. Good day.